What's up, folks? This is part two of my interview with Dan, my homie, best friend, brother, no lover. I mean, not in public anyway. No, seriously though, this dude's meant it means so much to me in my life, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Uh, so we left. Ooh, that was loud. So where we left off, we talked about snowboarding and all this other stuff. After you left Earl, it was about 8 months before I transferred. And you always told me to come up and visit you in Boston. Da, 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 da. And when I left Jersey, I told you, I was like, hey, dude, I'm coming up before I go down to my next command. And by that time, I think, no, you didn't apply for the police academy. So after you left Jersey, let the folks know what you did after you left.
So, my wife and I were, she was expecting, she was in San Diego.
Right.
Once I got out, she ended up flying over to Maryland, where I left and went to as soon as I left Jersey. Um, she transferred from San Diego over to Maryland to have the baby, our son, and I pretty much did stay at home dad for the first 6 months, I believe,
Okay.
until Nicole got out. Once Nicole got out, then we moved up to Mass, where I then did security over at Faneuil Hall.
Okay. So that's when you did security. All right. So for folks that don't know, Faneuil Hall is like a lot of historic part of Boston. You got your touristy bars and all the other stuff, but a lot of cool things are there as well. Um, Dan, if you don't mind, just tell everyone what are the big attractions there.
So right off the bat, Faneuil Hall is probably one of the most amazing attractions. Um, right in front of Faneuil Hall, in between historical Faneuil Hall and the courthouse down in Boston, you
Right.
have the red line, the Freedom Trail. It's basically a red line that goes throughout the entire downtown Boston area, and it historical sites such as the Boston Commons, the Old State House, Paul Revere's house down in the West End, Financial District. And throughout this trail, you pass multiple aged buildings from, um, I would say, early 1800s on.
Yeah, I know you're telling me some of them. I think your father-in-law was telling me there's a lot of pre-Revolutionary War buildings too. But I tried to go see, but I was doing something else. But we'll get into that later. But so you would you weren't doing it like daytime. It was all night shift, right?
Yeah.
So for those people who have never been, there's a ton of bars and clubs and all sorts of things to get into. And if you got too inebriated, hopefully you saw people like Dan instead of the cops. Because I know a lot of you guys, you're telling me that a lot of you just mainly trying to help people out, getting the cabs and stuff, right?
So every time that we got somebody that was, man,
Over intake.
recognition, I'll put it that way, as a
Okay.
human, um, everything we could. And we didn't never wanted to call any cops because we don't know the people's backgrounds. We don't know who they are, where they come from. It could just be a visiting tourist in the area, not even from the state, and they could easily get, jammed up for something small, such as having to go to the bathroom. Next thing you know, they're a sex offender for life. So, we try to
Gotcha.
keep that in mind every encounter that we have when it comes to anybody who's visiting or down at the bars partying in general. Because just in Faneuil Hall area, there's at least 10 bars.
Right, right, right. Well, the night I came up, we all right. So sorry about that. Little children issues. You know what that is. Well, you don't have a tween yet, and it's going to be 13. So
So big.
yeah. So getting back to it. Sorry for the interruption, folks. There's a little family issue here. Uh, so after you working Faneuil Hall, when I came up to visit you, we pretty much planned everything like off the hip. It wasn't like a set schedule at all. Because the first night, I think I got there like in the afternoon, and we just hung out at the house. And I think you went to work. No, you had off that day.
Mm.
You had to work the next day, and I went with you to work. Well, I went with you to Faneuil Hall while you were working, and if you guys never been to Boston, I highly recommend going to Boston just for the simple fact that it's one of the most historic cities in our country. You'll learn a lot of cool things. One of the cool things, if you're a booze hound, that's you can do it there. Absolutely can. There's some great bars there. A lot of traditional bars too. I found the one I just couldn't get into. It was some like Revolutionary War bar or some crap like that. They wouldn't let me in because I had a T-shirt and jeans on.
It was a Green Dragon,
Yeah, that's what it was.
and it was a bar where they met and held secret meetings for the revolution.
Yeah, I could. They wouldn't let me in the bar. Maybe I was just too intoxicated at that point.
You were just Chris at that time.
There was things that I did in Boston that to this day no one knows about except you.
We'll keep it that way.
And that sounds good. Except the one, there's this one thing that I saw you walking with this person, this woman, or I wouldn't say woman because she was a girl, had to be in her early 20s, and she's either on drugs or drunk. And the whole time you're talking to her, I'm telling her to say things back to you. And you hear me saying these things. The, but you were trying to keep a straight face the whole time.
I don't think it helped the fact that you are already half in the bag while having that conversation with me.
Yeah, but you know how I am when I'm ripped. I don't slur very much.
And that's kind of a problem.
It's scary. No, it's scary for people because the things that I say, I get people to do. I don't know what it is. To this day, it still happens. Like I can get my cousin to go do a backflip off the roof because I said, "Hey, dude, go check it out. The pool's right there, even though it's like 8 feet away from the edge of the roof to the pool. Yeah, you can make it, no problem.
Look at the height. Easy.
Yeah, easy. It's pure physics. You just have to get a running start, then like spin around really fast, and you'll land it, no problem. It's something like I don't know if it's my voice or maybe I just that enthusiastic about it. But I just remember talking to her, and she's looking at me, and I was like, "Ooh, wait, nope, no way. She's too. She wasn't drunk. We knew that she was definitely on something. So I have the picture, and I stepped back to take the picture, and I think you knew I did that because you kind of did one of these. You like, don't do it, don't take the picture, because she's like talking to you, but she's like doing sign language, but she's doing it with like the wrong, like she's like playing Pictionary. What is that? Is it Pictionary?
She was pantomiming what she was trying to say.
Pantomiming. Thank you. Brain fart today. So enough of the security job. You became a police officer, correct? I'm not sure. You're not part of Boston PD. You're part of what?
It's Revere PD.
Revere PD. Now, is that part of Boston or is that separate entity?
So it's entirely separate entity. Boston is its own city. Just on the outskirts, we have different cities such as Revere, Chelsea, Lynn, Everett, like all the different surrounding cities. I'm in one of those cities in Revere.
Okay. So it's complete separate. You don't have to deal with Boston at all for.
Unfortunately, the only time I encounter Boston is when people are coming across a bridge and they're going into Revere from Boston.
Oh, so like they're like trying to evade arrest or what have you.
Yes.
I got you. The reason I brought that up is because I'm proud that you're a police officer. I know that's what you wanted to do because you were a volunteer firefighter when we were in Jersey together.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you telling me, like, I want to be a police officer. I was like, okay, do it. Don't let me stop you. Go do that shit. And you fucking did it. Because I remember getting two phone calls about being your employer or no, your supervisor.
Yep.
And they're asking me these questions like, he didn't get the job already? Come on. What the fuck are you waiting for? I said that to the lady. She's like, excuse me, sir. And I was like, I'm surprised you haven't hired him already. He's good to go. She just looked at it. I can tell that she was looking at her phone like, what the fuck is this guy on?
Yeah, I can imagine who you were talking to.
But at the same time, I was glad I was getting a phone call, which means you were being looked at. And that was about like 2 or 3 months later. I see pictures of you, with your head shaved, like you're going to boot camp again. I think that was Police Academy, right?
Yeah, since day one.
Now it's not like the movie Police Academy. Like you have to.
I really wish it was.
That'd be so cool.
I'm going to tell you right now, it was probably worse than the Navy.
Really?
I'm not saying that the Navy, to me, the Navy boot camp wasn't hard by any means.
Yeah.
Obviously, Marines have it way worse, and Army's quality of life is a lot lower. But from what I knew of a boot camp, which isn't much, going into the police academy, I figured I had no problem. This was a mental game. It was no issue. I got this. I got there, and I remember the first night I came home, and I told Nicole, I can't do this anymore. I quit. I'm not doing this shit. This is outstandingly ridiculous.
There's a lot of physical physical training, so like running and push-ups and stuff, just like in the Navy, or is it something different?
So, no, it had nothing to do with the push-ups, the sit-ups, the runs. It had nothing to do with that. That was easy because you knew that was going to happen.
Right.
It was the crazy mind fuck throughout the academy that really tortured me. So we would go 4:00 in the morning. Now, mind you, we have a duffel bag that we have to hold in one specific hand.
Oh, was that the picture I saw? Was you holding the bag up and then you had to show items? Was that the picture?
Yeah. So you had to hold this duffel bag throughout your entire time being there. But for the first week, everyone started to bleed on their fingers because we kept holding our bags. Because it's about 80 pounds or more, holding all your stuff, running everywhere in place, picking your bag up, dropping your bag simultaneously. And it sounds minuscule, but from 4 in the morning to 5 at night to 6 at night, it becomes very, very strenuous because you line up at your initial spot where we would call muster, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You would line up online with your bag, duty in hand, ready to go. They yell at you for a good 5 minutes while you're standing at attention in hot weather. You have to drop your bag simultaneously as everyone else. If you didn't do it, you had to pick it up, do it again, pick it up, do it again, pick it up, do it again. We were out there for at least an hour doing the same repetitive rotation.
And that's for the first week. Like you haven't gotten into later weeks. Right?
Then you had to run back to your car, back online, back to your car, back online. They would yell at you through the car. They'd rip you out of the car. They'd scream at your face. They'd make you drop to the ground. They would take all of your stuff, all your belongings, and throw it all over your car, on top of your car. Not in your car, on top of your car, so it goes everywhere. And then you have 30 seconds to get all your stuff, put it back in your bag, and get back online. You didn't do it.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was just the first week,
Wow.
And it was continuously torturous for at least the first month. We started the academy with close to 70 people, maybe 60 something. Ended up dropping down to like 48 what I graduated with.
Jeez.
Some went out on hospital. Some went out just on their own accord. Others just it was a fail to show type of deal.
No, so they just didn't show up at all. Gotcha.
Yeah, they just couldn't do it anymore.
So
it was tough.
So after the academy, are you once you graduate, are you put like you're assigned a spot, or are you assigned a precinct, or how's that work?
So as soon as before you even go to the academy, you're already hired through a police department.
Okay.
The police department's chief has to give you a letter of sponsorship to the academy.
Gotcha.
So that's your initial.
So that's like your interview phase, right?
So no, you go through your interview phase, and that's when they decide to hire you. They send you to the academy.
Okay.
Graduation of the academy is when you start on duty.
So you're like your official. Once you graduate, you're just good to go, and you can actually start your patrol. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're still part of like they still have a training evaluator with you, right?
Yeah, we have what's called the field training officer, an FTO.
Okay.
So we'll do an FTO program. Some programs are 3 months long, some are longer, some are shorter, depending upon the needs of the department.
Right. So how long was your field training? Or are you still on it?
No, I was about 3.5 years, or 3.5 years, 3.5 months,
Damn. Damn.
half months. But your first year is completely probationary. So
Okay.
after your FTO is done with you, your first year probationary period begins because now you're a patrol officer, certified to be on your own. And from that point to a year after, you're on a probationary period where if you mess up, the police chief or any other captain or lieutenant can make a suggestion to terminate you without cause.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
So I guess you would say the FTO period is about a year and 3 months, 4 months, whatever you do.
Just to make sure you know how to do everything correctly and you're not gonna be a problem to deal with. Like if something happens, you're not gonna have issues, finishing out how you're supposed to and all that stuff, right?
Yes, that and psychologically too.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
you graduate the academy just like the military. You're all pumped up. You're all ready to go. They train you hard to go out into a war zone and
Yeah.
really going out to a docile landscape. But basically, what it comes down to is the first year is to see how you psychologically do.
Oh, I
Because
got you. That makes sense.
a lot of guys, what they do is once they get the badge on and they get a taste of power and freedom,
It's a shit show.
they go to their head completely and they become arrogant pricks.
Yeah, I mean, I see that here in Bethlehem. Bethlehem is broken down to different sort of smaller towns like Freemansburg, Hellertown. That they're still part of Bethlehem. I mean, it's not as big as Boston. It's like the population of Bethlehem alone is like 500,000, something like that. So it's broken down to smaller towns that are part of the Bethlehem City District. But you see that everywhere. Like the guys who you can tell who was a veteran and who was just off the street civilian, has no military background, like who has that sense of, like you said, who has the like in there mentally, who has all the power, and it's usually guys who weren't veterans.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you see the same thing, but I mean that's what I can tell, having no police background.
Well, unfortunately, the city of Revere up in Massachusetts, a lot of these guys are from the city of Revere, so they're all close knit. They have
Okay.
their own cliques. Being an outsider, I felt like right out of the academy, I had to prove myself to some extent. And I actually got pretty arrogant. I'm not going to lie. Being a veteran and everything else, I got a little arrogant.
Right.
And it was my wife and my father in law who put me back in my place, which was, I swear to God, I'm so thankful for them.
Yeah, your
Because,
father-in-law is one hell of a dude, man.
well, he's not the type of guy that's going to be really mean and, rude to you. But if you're messing up, he's going to let you know. And he's going to let you know in the best way possible. For me, I started to treat him just like any other basic criminal I would encounter on a daily basis. And it got so bad, he ended up stopping me and talking to me on the side. And I felt like shit.
Right, right, right.
I apologized to him. I apologized to my wife. I apologized to my entire family. They didn't deserve that.
Right.
Brought me back to reality, realizing not everyone's bad.
Yeah. I mean, that's I think nowadays. I know we talked not on the show, but we just talked. I put you down for a job reference and all that stuff, and I know we just talked about. I mean, nowadays, everyone's got videotapes and stuff. I don't want, like I say in the show, we don't talk about politics, religion in this show, but at the same time, uh, police officers and anybody that's a first responder is pretty much can relate to this show. But the way things now are nowadays, especially with the current situation, how everyone's being videotaped and stuff, is there extra precaution being thrown to you guys saying, hey, be aware of this, watch out for this? Or have procedures changed at all?
Um, no, I'm going to say no because the procedures that I initially signed on for through my FTO and everything else are the same procedures that hold up today.
Okay.
Because of the recent involvement of certain political movement groups and stuff like that, nothing's changed because our standard operating procedures is basically to treat everybody as a human. They're not all criminals, and
Right.
even the criminals, have a sense of moral compass. So
Right.
not everyone's terrible.
I mean, that's what I want everyone. I mean, everyone who thinks now. I'm not going to generalize a certain group of people, but at the same time, it almost seems like if they're not getting attention, they're the ones making the big noise. And what's sad is that people feed into that and make it even worse for people who have nothing to do with any of that. And it makes it worse for people like me, and it makes it double worse for guys like you and or men and women like you who are still get put on a uniform.
Well, I know that recently we had one of our officers become a YouTube sensation, unfortunately. And
Okay.
for everyone watching, I want you to understand that not everybody is like that by any means. I'm not going to speak on that officer's behalf, but
No, no, no. Don't, please don't.
most of us
Yeah.
very relaxed and understanding, and we sympathize with the situation.
Yeah. I mean, you think nowadays everyone's like, well, everyone's a peaceful protester. I'm like, they are until they break the law. I mean, everyone's a you can protest peacefully no matter what. It's not breaking the law. It's when you break the law, you're not a peaceful protester anymore. It says that in I want to say the Bill of Rights. It says it plain, you know, cut and dry, black and white. Can I say black and white? Is that's PC enough?
No,
No, whatever. But anyway,
in
uh,
negative format.
yeah, I mean it's written right there. So people try to misconstrue things, and I mean it's just like with the cancel culture. I know the comedians that I turned you on to, and the ones you turned me on to, a lot of them had gigs and stuff, and some of them would get shit canceled on just because they said something out that was off topic or off color or whatever it was. And that's what it seems like nowadays. If you don't think a certain way, you're wrong. But my opinion's what matters. So fuck you.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, everyone has an opinion.
That's
And
fine.
yeah, that's 100% fine. But I heard in something in boot camp, and I absolutely love it. And I compare excuses to opinions, by the way.
Yeah,
Excuses are like assholes. Everyone got one, and it smells like shit.
absolutely.
That's the way I look at life. But I'm
But
not going to sit there and hold anybody against what their opinion is. Professionally, my job is to be a robot.
yeah, that's
Show
pretty much
up,
it.
you break the law, you're going to jail. That's all there is to it. You
The
want to
same thing with the military.
argue with.
Same thing with any Navy, Army, Marine job. You're programmed to do that certain job, and you're not doing that job, you're wrong. Plain and simple. So I mean, I think that's why we got along so well too, because we kind of thought alike, and that's why we connected a lot. I think we connected more than I have other people, other friends I have. We connected like we are related. I don't know how that works. You're like a foot taller than me or whatever.
Which,
I just have the sweeter facial hair. That's all it is.
I still can't even grow out past this.
Are you allowed to?
So we have in our contract, we have a beard policy to where I can have it grown out, but it can't be like yours.
Yeah, this is as soon as I got out, stop shaving.
Well, put it this way. As a police officer, if I get into an altercation, physical altercation, that's the first thing they're going to grab.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, great, you can still grab this, but by the time you get that close to my,
This is full fist, and there's still like an inch hanging out.
yeah,
But it's fine.
I
It's
mean, I try not to let anybody fist my face.
plain and simple. I mean, you can pay to watch that on the internet nowadays.
I'm glad you caught that.
You know me. I'm saying we thought of like that's why Nicole kind of hates the fact that we get along so well to the point where I'm like smashing bagels on the breakfast table.
Do you remember? I have to ask this question. Do you remember the Facebook post that you put? It was, I don't know if it was our anniversary or whatever the case is.
I'm
But
thanking that because I did a lot.
You put anal in all capital letters.
Oh, that's right.
And her dad saw that, and he was like, always Nicole, always love. And I was like, nice.
Nice. No, that's not what it.
That was awkward.
Was that before I met your father-in-law or after?
I think that was before.
Oh yeah, because after he looked at me, he was like, "So," he pulled me aside, he's like, "Anal?" Huh? I was like, "Huh?"
Right.
Don't karate kick me in the face, sir.
Yeah. Oh God, that guy being 6'4" is just intimidating. I don't care who you are.
He is, and he's the most calmest, nicest person you'll ever meet. And when I met the dude, I was like, "Ah, crap, I can't say anything fucked up." And he starts swearing. I'm like, "All right, we're getting along just fine."
Yep. You guys even went out fishing without me.
Who, me and him?
Yeah.
No, we went to go look at the boat.
I remember you guys took the boat out. I wasn't even with you. So I think I had to work or something. And then you guys were messing with me, saying that the boat broke down. We got to swim
Oh
back.
yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
You guys were terrible.
Because we went to go look at the hydraulic thing on his boat. One of the motors or something was fucked up.
You guys scared the shit out of me.
He's like, "Hey, you think this would be funny?" I was like, "Yeah, it'd be great. Let's do it."
I'm on board. Let's do it.
Cool. Because then Nicole starts calling me. She's like, "What's going on with you guys?" I'm like, "Uh," I tell Dad, and I was like, "Yeah, we're doing this to Dan. Don't worry. Everything's okay." Everyone was. I think her mom was on it too. I don't remember.
Yeah, I was definitely going to work at that point in time, so I wasn't anywhere near, which sucked.
I know it was funny because you guys are upstairs eating with your mom and dad, and I was like, "Oh, let's order some Chinese food." Chinese food gets through. Her mom comes down. "You can come eat with us." And I was like, "I got Chinese food. I'm bringing it." So I'm eating Chinese food and whatever your mother-in-law made or bought or whatever it was, because it was like buffet, like it was like uh, what was it, ziti and all the Italian stuff, and I was like, oh, man,
Chicken, broccoli, and ziti.
yeah. They're like, "Oh, don't worry about the Chinese." I can have both. You don't know me. You don't know me very well. 'Cause I remember you getting a fight with Nicole about going to the Chinese buffet place, and that's where you had your first crawfish.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, what?
There's a place here that Dana tried one that you didn't suck the head like I told you to. It's
Which
all
time?
gross. It's all gross in there. It's like it's the good stuff, man. That's like the butter of the ocean right there, man.
That's so gross.
So good. So good.
Oh, I remember the place. It was Flamin' Grill, I think it was, is what it was called. Flamin' Grill Buffet that
Yeah.
you went to. God.
That was after I got those Batman sunglasses that had the top of the cowl. And I wore them into the Chinese place, I think.
Yeah.
I look like a pothead then. I mean now I'm whatever. I mean, I can.
Like it.
And I, I mean, it's not illegal in this state. It ain't. I mean, I think Massachusetts is starting to be recreational soon.
Is in Massachusetts, it is recreational to have.
It is now. Oh, damn. Okay.
It's been for the past year, I believe.
Yeah, Pennsylvania is still medical, and there's a bunch of crap behind our,
Yeah,
our
so
our government here. The state government here is a bunch of. They're just lazy. They don't like to vote on anything, so
eventually it'll be unified.
it
But
will. It will be once they can figure out a way to.
I don't expect a lot of officers to embrace it too much.
That's. I mean, as long as you're not like legally selling it and all that stuff, but there's a whole bunch of crap that goes behind that, and I wouldn't even know where to start with that because I don't. All I know is I enjoy the product. I don't want to get into the math part of it. Even though my cousin who's down in Virginia tried to. So you got to invest in this company. It's going to blow up. I was like, sure, man. Let's talk about that later. Because yeah, I don't know. All right, folks. Well, this will do it for part 2 Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed both of these videos. My homie, my brother from another mother. Anything else you'd like to add before we close this out?
Nothing I can think of.
Well, I appreciate you being on here. I appreciate you for protecting those in Revere. I mean, wish you could be here so I can fuck with you while you're on patrol down here.
God, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, but it'll be fun. But thanks for being on the show, and for everyone that's watching and everyone that's listening, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can click it here wherever it's going to be on the screen, probably in this corner. Probably have another video on the top left corner, whatever I decide to do. Uh, anyway, thanks for tuning in, and see you in the next episode.